You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange.
Building tomorrow today with Rightmove. Looking for quality, reliability, and innovation in your next big build? Choose Rightmove Engineering and Construction, Sierra Leone's trusted name in transforming ideas into enduring structures. We don't just build projects, we craft landmarks that stand the test of time. From state-of-the-art offices and modern homes to fuel stations, water systems, and infrastructure, our team delivers precision, passion, and perfection. At Rightmove, we are not following industry standards, we are setting them. Through cutting-edge technology, uncompromising safety, and sustainable solutions, we are building a brighter, stronger, and safer Sierra Leone. Visit us at 54 Campbell Street, Freetown, or call 078399475 or 077504338. Rightmove Engineering and Construction. Building quality, building trust, building the future.
It's Labor Day. After all the grind, stress, and queries at the office, it's time to ease your brain, laugh out loud, and feel like the CEO. Laugh with Kingdom. Hustle will make sense on Labor Day, Friday, May 1st, 2026. Venue, prestigious Money Hotel, 7 p.m. Ticket prices: 500 millions. Answer: 1,000 millions. I mean, table for 4, 10,000 millions. A deal? Table for 8, 20,000 millions. You don't buy yourself plenty. Now come and laugh. No excuse. Media partner Liberty Online TV and cooked by Eminence Africa.
I said, it don't make sense. I don't make sense.
Welcome to this edition of the Breakfast Show, where they come to you from Liberty Online Television. My name is Alex Lawrence Kogoma.
And Mina Khadija Bangura, good morning. Inside this edition of the Breakfast Show, we continue for look at women them within a different sector them. As we all know, this now the International Women's Month, and we don't spotlight different women them. We continue for break the glass ceiling and continue for make a difference at the various career them. Yesterday we been talked to the first woman na the Sierra Leone military we don rise na the rank for be a commanding officer we now na the commander for the 14th Infantry Battalion na Pujon. He been tell we in story, very amazing story for CC. He set that record day will not ever happen at the history of Sierra Leone for let woman be a commanding officer. We'll be listening to Lieutenant Colonel AKCC. We'll be sharing journey with we end. We'll be talk to a renowned professor, when a professor Aisha Ibrahim Fofana, where they head the Gender Studies Department of Rabi College. Himself tell we how the space talek for women them where they into the civil society sector. In as much as complain they don't begin they come say the space don't they shrink, but I believe say women them for continue for push so that they go continue for do the advocacy work. Quite you know they can look at women inside the governance sector where they can get a governance expert we go can tell we how the space talek for women them we find themselves in a governance sector, especially the one there where they serve now na the government of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio. Then later we'll go talk about women them we find themselves in the mining sector, somebody we're very passionate about this sector. We don't be an activist for very long time. Lawyer Yasmin Jusu Sharif will tell we how this sector turn like right now for women them. But we can start first with the governance expert. We have Valnora Edwin. We go can tell we how the governance space turn like for women them right now as we continue for spotlight remarkable women them. We don't do very well, and Valnora now one of the women them they all in life you don't spend into advocacy and try for create a niche for himself for talk about issues them where they affect governance. Good morning, Miss Edwin.
Good morning. A pleasure for the also.
Happy International Women's Month and happy International Women's Day belated.
Yes, thank you. And also happy International Women's Month to all the great women of Sierra Leone. And I think I really want to congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Cisse. It just happened that we've been there in the conference with the Vice President's office and the Ministry of Gender being all, and we are on the same table on doing some group work. And me really they make some input. Unfortunately, we'll not be introduced with self, but I want to congratulate them and to say it was an honor and a pleasure for sit together at the same table.
All right. So firstly, we start with looking at a sector where for a very long time you don't inside, you don't into advocacy. But firstly, you don't at the civil society space as a woman for a very long time. And this is Women's Month. We talk about women them, how then they utilize their spaces they are. We don't see several women them, the likes of Marcella Samba, they talk about the space don't shrink, they talk about digital bullying and a whole lot of things them way is say they go on there. How you can describe the space for us women them within to advocacy currently?
Well, I think as you say, Marcella rightly say, that is the unfortunate context we see for the FENWISEF. On a personal note, I go say me over the years where I don't do my work, I don't really go through any form of intimidation or harassment, in as much as I think people might not always agree with what I say, but I don't ever get any, backlash to the level they see they happen now, and I think I just want to thank God for that. So whilst we talk about the shrinking space for civil society, it covers a lot of issues. It covers the issue around resources. When you talk about the shrinking space of civil society, it also talks about legislations. We go make, even before you talk, you get for, begin look say, la no reach here, or let this not can happen to me, or they invite me go usai. It talks about the online bullying, who they see they increase for quite a number or a few of we colleagues them as well. It talks about, one or two colleagues and they will don't be detained because of being vocal and just saying it as it is. They no sugarcoat them in any way. So rightly so, it's not as open as we go like for let it be. In as much as we know say yes, go just say anything out of context or say something where they create any issue which they have not done in real view. So it's very unfortunate that we're in this kind. So we're in this kind of space currently.
Let we talk about one very important thing we talk about. People for being vocal, invites them na CID, police arrest them, some can even go na Pademba Road. And especially quite recently, una civil society, they don't come under attack, say. Most of the vocal civil society activists, them, would they be the them voices during the previous regime, don't go quiet now. That's now one of the reasons them we make some of the voices them way people we don't use for critique the ills of governments them. They're not they talk anymore.
So that's the sector I've been, as you rightly say, for a very long time. And I think a lot of people know been there. You know, you get different categories of people within the space. You get some the way I know things say they get the passion and the drive just for see your country change, improve, regardless of whose government's day. That's now one. You get others, they will don't move on to other things, then they not continue for day in the space. You get a person like me, where decide say, I've left campaign for good governance that's created a very big platform, make sure say are they into different spaces and things. So you're very much aware of what's they happen within the governance space and decide say, you know, they're at the back and maybe once in a while just engage on this level of advocacy, even though it doesn't mean you're not doing other things on the side. And you get people where probably they feel not sure that, you know, I know one for letting can hold me. So, you know, like just keep quiet. And I think say we also get for be aware that we have some groups and organizations then we can somewhat think say they're aligned somehow. And so when it comes to actually critiquing or raising up issues and having a dialogue around it in the government way they seem to be associated with, they're not going to be as vocal as they used to be to the government where they feel say, compared to the government where they feel say no to their own political party. So you have this mixed bunch. And it's rather unfortunate because I think civil society don't they thrive very well in Sierra Leone. And one of the things that we have always been proud of, and even now within all of this context, we continue to be proud of, is the relationship we have with our government. Because there are other countries where civil society and government officials know that they are the same table at all. But we continue for experience that we're invited into government processes. They sit with them at the table. Some colleagues, they be part of government delegation that you don't find in other countries. And I think it's something we need for treasure and hold on to because we all get a hat for move the country forward.
All right, Ms. Edwin, when you talk about governance activism for human business, you know, one, campaign for good governance, and of course, Marcella. Just these two names possibly far right now this country, particularly country woman where they talk about governance. And you don't leave the space a little bit. What did they happen? You feel disappointed.
What did they happen specifically?
The woman in the face for what did they happen to Marcella, for example, where they talk on issues of governance, we facing all right. These are the same things that we talk about before.
So I think so what's in the probably explode more within recent times is this highly partisan nature where a lot of Sierra Leoneans they don't get. Sierra Leoneans they lack political party past the country. And despite people and go exposure, whether academically or even living within other contexts, where you go see, let's say take the US for example, even waiting they go on. You get Americans where they say, no, I think say we don't make me point enough. This war get for stop. It doesn't mean they're not Republicans, they're not a supporter of Trump or whatever. But when they see something where they go wrong, then they talk them. It's in the interest of their country. But the unfortunate thing where Sierra Leoneans, they don't pick up, when they align to a party, they elect the party, they're a member of the party, anything where the party do, is correct. Anything where you do. So even where they come, they talk about, I mean, I can always give the issue of the lights as an example. Then they not to anything where anybody get for argue about. That as a country, we don't gain independence for over 60 years. With all the donor funding where they don't come for energy sector, we not for SIDA, we still they get blackout. But you go get somebody now, where you talk down there, they can, when you see talk and so na APC day, it go wanga. But it's the reality. You self waiting na use, you not get light. You self waiting na use, you get for install solar, you get for use generator. Because there is no light. You must get people that way they complain, say, hey, I not be able to make this, even the one they will do catering, even the cookery seller, the jijabia, whatever sector, it affects everybody. But people then go argue you to the last, say, well, the last 10 have been 10 kilowatts, then they make, we don't reach 12. But no, because we are over 60 years of independence, and when every government can then they lay out big plans and tell you, say, in fact, they can't solve this problem. Now that's what they hold you accountable for. And when you do as a government, you get for provide for the people. But unfortunately for Sierra Leoneans there now, they hold so much allegiance to political party that even when they see the reality, they can't come out and say, oh, this thing not right, let me look at this way for let me resolve it. And so this is why, taking Marcella and issue as an example, people are so aggressive and they go out of line in terms of addressing an issue. And I think anything what would they say over time, it's about helping Sierra Leone move forward. It's not about, and making say any government we can, one, your work is the same, and two, I'm a Sierra Leonean and a citizen. And I want for see my country move forward. I want for ensure say I get light, I get water. I want for be respected when I move out of Sierra Leone. We want for make when external shock come, the government, the economy good way, it not go hit we so. Now you go to shops, just this few days where price don't go, things have doubled up. How many people can afford that? Already with a strain, how we been there. But we cannot even absorb any external shock. Instead, we go begin, hey, that country, they make so. Then that country, they make so. We don't copy the good things of the country. So, it's just that as a country, which is very unfortunate for we they forget all about professional ethics. We they forget all about integrity. We they forget all about standard, all the good value systems we will be all as a nation. And focus more on how we can satisfy or appear for satisfy this political party or regime. So even when we sit in spaces, for influence and do the right thing, we don't.
So this political party where Sierra Leone and them don't cherish so much than the country itself. Now that make a lot of people feel say the hypocrisy level in the country, they go up, Madam Elwin.
I totally agree with you. And a lot of people sit on the fence as well. One of the things that I don't see, when people sit in spaces where they are supposed to be that checks and balance, for make sure say things we want go right and contribute. We all idea whether you're government and non-state actors, we're all together in governance for make sure say the country move forward. But you go get people that will go sit on the fence. They will not say anything. And I don't get people where they give the example that they sit in spaces where something they know they talk, then they go send WhatsApp. Look what's in there and they be.
Even for we at the media,
Yes.
they face that.
So,
if they call somebody for can talk, and media spaces, it go don't give all the things the way it feel like say the border as a citizen. As soon as you say can I study, no vex spam.
So this is where we are. Let you appear good. So you are even giving jobs where you for deliver, because I can always tell people who sit in public office, you are not paid by a party, not to the party where you think say appoint you or where you feel say you belong or where you feel say you get affiliation to. They pay you a month done, not to a group of people where they at that party they pull money in them personal pockets, they pay you. Now the taxpayer money they pay you, now they give you the office, now they give you the motorcar, now they make you get per diem, now they give you all the allowance, they not to an individual. So your service there, you owe it to the people of Sierra Leone for let you deliver, not to a political party. But you get people where they sit on the fence. They not go talk when they need for talk. Say, this thing, look and so, just for make it right. They want for appear good. And in doing that, they are doing the wrong thing. They're doing a disservice to the people of Sierra Leone. You get some man where he not go even talk at all. He go just they look. You get some man where they go the extra mile for do the wrong thing, thinking that now that way they please the political party. And it's just unfortunate that in the strive of pleasing and appearing good to political parties, they do the wrong thing. So now that environment there, and I start to think, why are people waiting Roman will say they sell them birthright for Kokoebe. You know, you they belittle yourself so much just for let you appear good to them few people there where you don't hail. And you are there, I think they even put you in certain spaces for let you do the right thing. They not put you there for do the wrong thing. So I wonder whether it's an issue of survival. You begin to look safe and not make so I will lost my job and job not better than the country. Usa else I go. But I think over time we just don't lose the essence of integrity, professionalism, standard, which is very bad.
We said in this one space, we don't see people in way one of days been very active for talk about issues about government, you know, that affects the people. Mostly some of these people they dine with this government. Some even take government's position. When I don't in this space where everybody believes in the civil society and the media space, forget some amount of integrity for being apolitical. When I feel disappointed with what happens.
So I always say people then get them personal, professional aspiration. For me, if you're there within the civil society space, you step out. You go be somebody within politics, you actually step out. That is fine. But where it's a problem is where you still sit in civil society. Then you are more of a politician, past the one themselves within the politics. That's where you have a problem. I do recall when we just entered the space, that was one thing that weakened Liberian civil society though. Because then, if you hear the name, then Kofi Woods, then Griffith, you have some names where they all been the work with Zaina Bangura, you get Kayode Fayemi in Nigeria, you get I think Professor Bombade when they start one app. You had all of those Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia. You had people that will really push the civil society movement. In Liberia, where the government come in, a lot of them go as they were appointed. So then they considerably weakened the Liberian civil society until others emerged. So for me, if you come on a civil society and you actually move into politics, it's fine. Then you don't disconnect. Nobody know they see you now as a civil society. We just hope say the principles the way you carry as a civil society person, you're able for carry them when they go into government. Though government works differently. But that mixture where you go then a civil society, then you want talk like say you then a government or you want please political party, and so you they break the professional ethics of a civil society advocate. That's where we have an issue.
Well, but once I get a case, for example, like we be the CGG, you left a government job, you appoint somebody for the, but you see this phase, but now you directed the work from the back, and it happened from an organization where I know going name for security reasons. how that kind of thing display, how neutrality they work. You don't put this person before, but everything what this person do, you within a government, they get government job, now you get for approve.
Well, that's how you have a problem. And I do recall when me take over, even though when Anti-Zainab left, we get Mrs. Randall, Olayinka Kritin Randall. In fact, Abdul Tijankol Act. Then you get Olayinka Kritin Randall before me come in. So even when me come in, I get people that will begin, they say, we know say Anti-Zainab behind still there and this. Even we been in a government, which wasn't true. One thing, when you start up something, you get that allegiance, like I wanna be the foundation members that are called under way of Liberty TV. Even if for some reason you move on, you don't totally disconnect. Any of you, like you become president tomorrow, that allegiance must there because this now you baby, you start time, you've been part of it. So you will not totally disconnect in that sense, but it doesn't mean day-to-day management issue, you are part of that. And if that is what is happening, like you are going to approve, and even that in itself, it depends on how professional you are. Because even when I talk about, when we even look at people where they in government, not all man, they do questionable things. They are good people with good professional conduct, where they carry themselves with integrity. You know, they carry themselves with any form of arrogance. You hear good things about them in terms of how they do their work. So if you are even coming back to give that professional support and advice, I don't think it's a bad thing. What would be wrong? Now for where you go begin, where you go so now for go take 10 talk or until you know say I didn't have government now, then you are creating a problem. So that professional integrity and ethics, now we not forget, now we not for left, regardless of where we sit.
Looking at the space now, and when you look at the big names, people who they advocate for people in this country, the age don't begin to meet them. How will they see? If they see civil society in the next 4, 5, 10 years go lost in this country, advocacy go die in this country. Because when you look at most of these organizations, you're in a CGG, people don't be the same as already as program manager then, and you already know, so you be the push them for make it take a space, and you see the reality where you left, not see that gap. But looking at other organizations then today, you know, they see like somebody go see, say, we don't work with most of them. So no, if this person go rise up. If you fear in the next years, the voices then go die.
So that's another thing where I think say they affect the civil society space and maybe some other institutions where people then feel say this pass or die thing, and they allow initiatives to die with them. And one thing personally I believe in, when you they do something good, try for leave a legacy, try for groom other people, not feel threatened that if I begin make other person get for pass you. It just like when you be a parent. You for expect you picking for achieve more than you. So if you're grooming somebody else, you for look say this person, if I even achieve more than me, and let it do them in your lifetime. So you can sit in your corner and feel proud that wow, I contribute to that person the way they talk, so way they do this, way they achieve so much. But unfortunately, a lot of people they not get that handy. All them guys where you see the organization are they no more. They want to say na them, na then they not talk not they talk. But over time, you they groom people, you for expose them to things. Yes, they not go be like you because you don't grow or you don't get the experience. But now you started somewhere. So if you nurture people, then go able for grow so that when you they left or when you left, there's somebody else coming up. So maybe it's also a shout out or a call to action for my colleagues say, they are not just dominate on our organization there. Una left people them. Let them go, even to come out to the media. Myself no say where I start. I started somewhere. I was dabbling here and there. Until over time you build the confidence, you gain the experience, you know how to answer questions, you do your research, you engage better. But if you are not given the opportunity, you're not going able to grow.
So the current state, you fear say the voice then go lost?
Well, I hope say maybe the one way I read this message and as we don't begin, make up a conversation, people then go do a self-reflection and realize say, wow, my organization is really just me. And let's try for like are they coordinate this network, African Women Leaders Network. It's still, you know, struggling here and there. But I work with young women, youth women. And a lot of things I can try for tell them, say, even when we want to talk about the organization, I know one for be the face for go na media. I know one for be the one all along they go na meetings. You need to go, even if you've never, because you get women, they were in different sectors, teachers, nurses, we're not all man there and then talk. But even if you're a nurse, even if you're a teacher, even if you're there in communication, IT or whatever, you need for able for articulate within an issue the way you want for talk about, and I encourage them say una go forward. That's how you leave a legacy.
Because the reason why I ask, we get women activists then, but most of them they focus on gender issues where many people go the perception say money they from international partners, disabled issues, but people who for talk on governance issues, there the problem lies. You go get civil society to go do other advocacy, but those are the question government or governance practices. Then in the alarming issue, and one in the space in office na concern.
I agree with you, and it's very true. Those people will speak on governance very, very few, and over time, I'm not too really sure why. A lot of people they not take interest, but probably it's just about what they talk about. Some people then afraid, say something, whatever they say, they will have some backlash. Some people they affiliated and no one look like say, well, this na me young people and then I myself na me young people and they where APC government me then na me people them in they where SLPP government they so now me people then they but me people then thankfully, then they appreciate the truth. And it also depends on how you say the right thing. So, if not for me, people then they miss APC people then I mean get people then they SLPP I get people then they. And I think say where then they if they really know you people there, they help them for do the right thing for let the country go before. Because at some point they all get for commodity. And then whose legacy will they left? Whose future will they left for picking there? But I think people just not maybe not like the governance space, unfortunately. And I do certainly agree with you that there are very few people, but I think I want to encourage a lot more people that you need to come on board and talk about these issues. I think government is also open to having dialogue, to having conversations where they help for move the country forward.
What you want civil society say government don't lock the space? Out to that, they say government, now government don't close the civil society space, this particular government.
Well, I think the fact that you can call me, I can sit here, I'm not going to say they lock the space. It has some challenges here and there too, but the space not lock.
According to the government close, for example, some of the funding or they tied the space through the Ministry of Development, you know, civil society, they get to get the funding like they get time before. I can vividly quote now Alfonso Mali make a statement now another online space. And he make example of this. Instead of done then, although few people get few perception about some civil society them. But if we say that statement they realistic.
So one of the contexts where don't happen, like I mentioned, where we talk about the shrinking space of civil society is also by resources, finances. And then they're not just limited to Sierra Leone. They in so many webinars, conferences where the conversation has been waiting for the alternatives now for civil society. The reason being, especially for we were there in sub-Saharan Africa, we not get local philanthropists. People with money or people that will say they get money within the country, they not a give like how you defend other country. Then inside there where they get finances. Sometimes they not to even the institution like National Endowment for Democracy or SIWA, these are individuals we form foundation and organizations, and then they get people there where they give donation then to them, where then they give like organization there like we own. We not get people then as alone where they look say I believe in the cause where people then they do. Let we set up a foundation so it can be an endowment and a foundation where you go they give money to civil society.
Because the people don't lost trust in una way the civil society space.
No, from time in memorial, we not ever get any kind of people in there. Ever since me join civil society, I know one day see people there where don't set up they do it for other things, like how you get picking that thing which as they coordinate for them picking the Adonis Abud self do them thing and they for the fly them picking them. You can get them. If I ain't the only one who I see really don't be so much consistent with people and they donate, governments they donate, and it's still a sort of private space, which is a good thing. But for let you get them kind of endowments where people and they contribute say with their support. So that's one challenge is for we, because we not get local philanthropy where they thrive, where they able for fund we. Secondly, we know say over time with all these conflicts in the Western country, they don't push, because I have attended conferences internationally where the discussion don't they where we from them country I don't go say if una want put so much money into una defense system and cut down aid to countries like we, including supporting not only our governments, but civil society, it's going to create a challenge. It's going to shrink our space. And of course, then say, yes, we not go totally cut off, but we also go for protect we country. We say go for protect we people. And they not left their own people and they can't remember we now we own country. Where we know they do that day for them. So that is also part of the space. And thirdly, yes, because for example, when we mention about like where election they cancel, by now, there's a basket fund. We can do engage UNDP. They always have monies for us where the electoral cycle go start. We don't get intervention different donor then go down call say this they happen, that they happen. How do you engage? Like if census they go on, there'll be donors we go say, oh, on I need for track this process, or organization they go down go meet and say yes, either on a working coalitions or individual organizations then give them. If it's something on healthcare, on education, on all them different service delivery issues, it used to happen. But now we know they so. Even where they say do dissemination of information, where will be the work with Ebola issue, it's not happening now. We not get all that funding there available. And so intervention they will make government did we call when NCRA been starts at some point. They gave money to civil society organizations. You write a proposal so that you can go out to your constituencies and explain about NCRA. So, we not see much of that happening. It's not totally locked out, but I totally agree that space they really they shrink now.
The sick government they give subvention to sludge. If we say them for do similar to civil society.
That's an interesting one. Well, I think sludge is a bit more organized than we. Unfortunately, a movement like the civil society movement where we meet, that brought together all civil society organizations across the country. We even though we don't try for revival, but we not get that sort of vibrant body day again. Probably if we had that like civil society movement, some subvention they can where they help we for let we able maybe like get office space, pay the staff the way they and able for coordinate our members there so that you can also seek the interest of your members.
We also get a situation where now they see some civil society they describe as pro-government, some when they see as anti-to-government. So if I get something like them, we begin to say no, they no more will give support. So
well, if it like I say, if we were better organized, you get like civil society movement, then they not go arise. And I think I really want to take the opportunity for commend sludge because it has been one body where you were different players they all day inside there, we don't remain objective and professional in the work. And I think I want for commend on our leadership and on our all and on our maintainer that way. Unfortunately, so many other similar bodies in different professions don't compromise themselves so much. But sludge has really remained objective and professional in terms of meeting the mandates. And I hope say maybe other institutions, then similar body, professional bodies can emulate what sludge don't do.
Miss Edwin, one thing we don't seem to be a pattern now this issue of gatekeeping in the civil society space. You they get the individual when at the face of the organization, eventually take up government appointments or even political party elective position, but still they hold on to the platform where it be don't create just for gatekeep on how, especially if critical issues then come about the government, how then they take a position. You they see coalition of civil society network now for pull one single press release for critique government. Behind the scene, a lot of issues they happen. You think saying a deliberate act from the politician them for infiltrate inside the space just for let una no gather one collective voice for hold them accountable?
It's an interesting question. I think people then just like I've done mention earlier, people then seem whether it's a means of survival, that the need for compromise the integrity and the professional ethics required by their profession just in the name of appearing good so that maybe then go they get some kind benefit somewhere. When I asked the question earlier, and like I mentioned, if you started something, you know, go completely maybe sort of disconnect. But where is it would be a problem. Now, where you get for go dictate to them how they get for manage things, and where you go begin say, for example, hey, you know, say I didn't government now, not go talk, let them not come put your eye me, let them not sack me at the work. That is a problem. If you're in government, you're in government. Even if you still get another organization, you get for let the organization operate independently. And you get for make the one that in government no say, I'm not get at this organization. And this is a civil society organization. If they get for do, what they get for do as a civil society organization, you can't begin to micromanage and sort of, but it's all an extension for what you go say state capture, where the states get in hand per every little thing and or most things, and so it limits how much, you know, alternative views could be expressed and alternative opinion could be carried around.
Where most civil society then fend themselves now?
Well, I'm not going to say most, because to be fair, not all people that within our government now being get on a civil society organization then, where they go still able for control. We have a good number of colleagues that where they in government, and I think I appreciate say them step out of the space, then they some of them they where they do very good job, and then they get with support, let them deliver. They are seeing the other side of it now. But where you they and then you want put you on for micromanage within they happen now other organization, it's a bit of a challenge, and that is all part of weakening the space. There are one or two organizations, as you rightly say, that do come to mind, where they get so much engagement that you don't see press releases, you don't hear engagements, and we not really they say we are there to just critique government all the time. We are there to support, give recommendation, create platforms for alternative views, perspectives to be shared.
But why regimes thinking normally see una, especially civil society activists, them will always get opposing views to that of the regime? Then he always see una as this kind opponents. Most of una they come through online bullying. Most of una they come through harassment, especially now these days where the social media space they open. You see bloggers the way they label themselves to a political party, being the defensive weapon of the political party online.
So waiting at the unfortunate part of that, I could sit here and say something you might not agree with. But when you begin personally attack the person, you begin curse them, you begin intimidate them. That's a real target and definitely a ploy for weakening the civil society space. Because if you begin go threaten me picking them, you begin go threaten me home, I go definitely afraid. Because I love my country, but I love my children more than my country's alone. I not go risk myself for me picking them at all. I mean, I not go risk myself to the extent that it go endanger me picking them. I personally will not do that. So knowing that maybe a couple of people then think the same way like I do, they just think it's a ploy where you will send them faceless looking.
Continue.
All right, we sorry for the break they will get. Napa cut in studio. Still they continue with the breakfast show. We get Valnora Edwin with Win at the studio. Renowned civil society activist. Actually, he came for talk about how the space stand like for women they day into governance, but we just the get conversation around the civil society space, how it stand like right now for them as civil society activists. Them, yes, me said when before get that break day, you be they talk about how a lot of honor they come under online bullying to the extent of coming after your family members or even kids.
So, like I said, you do have these so-called bloggers where they send, well, for some colleagues, because also we all the experience that they send messages to some colleagues as reported, and like we they say, Marcella comes to mind, and that has been going on since 2023. Then they attack them, then they say a lot of things against them, threaten them, and all the rest of it. And most of these things you can see are just ways for just, again, applause used for weakening civil society. Thankfully, though, it's not as intense as you can see in other countries, but I don't think it's a pathway for nurture or for encourage, for go further. You might disagree with what somebody say, but not go attack them. And secondly, not go begin label them. This person, they say so because they are this party or that party. Like we always keep on saying, let's have a conversation without narrowing it down to an SLPP APC conversation. Like we they talk about the light just now, and for just confirm me point, now light go off. So now we should not live in a country where lights they go off. So imagine it's in a hospital, then they conduct, then they do surgery. You know, there's an operation ongoing. We want companies then for can invest in this country. You cannot have such power shortage they happen. It's what is happening is the reality. So one of the things that we will get for nurture as a civilized society, then we get conversation where you know they begin personalize the thing to person or degenerate the conversation to an APC SLPP conversation. Let it be a conversation on issues. Let we also be open for no, so we'll get alternative opinion, alternative views. How do we balance all of that so that at the end of it all, you get a good outcome? That is what democracy is all about.
So now look to the governance space. The woman the way they now. I should say President Bio, now one of the presidents, then we don't encourage women them for come forward and it don't they give some appointments to women them for serve now in government. How you can assess generally the space for women in governance?
Well, from we were the outside, where they look at the way they inside it. I think it's a good thing where we they get a lot more women at decision-making level. It also they help for change perception from women themselves, for man them, and especially for the younger generation, we picking them, we grand-picking them that women can occupy those spaces. They are also competent. They're also qualified for hold any office. Usually, they can put women at that social welfare, gender, ministry. We still have them there. My two good friends are there, and they're doing their own, they're doing a good job. But we also have them, water resources, education, marine, tourism, you know, we Ministry of Development, you know, you have the women there. And I think they're holding their own. I don't think, say, so far what will they see, we go say, because now woman, they're not able to manage the job. They're doing a good job on their own. Overall, how that has made an impact in terms of the country moving forward the way we want, it's still a struggle because it's still a big space. And so far, nothing at all really like, because they are there, they're being bullied by the male ministers or that sort of thing. I've not had that. I don't know if it's happening, but I've not had that. And I think, say, they need for keep up that pace where they all need for work together. They all need for coordinates, because you can be in Ministry of Health, you can be in the gender ministry, you can be in water resources or lands, but to now all get a common goal. And at some point, to now need for coordinate. So in terms of the ministerial positions, deputy ministers, I think, and even permanent secretaries, then they within the ministries, department and agency, we see in commissions and the like, the minimum 30% is being in some ways respected. I think that's a good start. but I think say we need for accelerate them steps then they a bit more, but also ensuring that, like I say, in terms of the ministerial positions, I think say we really get qualified women serving as ministers. They holding their own. They are very good professionals. I think say in other areas, especially when it comes into politics, for members of parliament, we need for do the same. That we need for get women that are already holding their own, that can push the women's agenda to be, regardless of electoral system, we need for getting crop of women then they for also occupy that space
So
there.
when you talk about the political space, they're not on to they do well in terms of representation?
Well, I think we expect a bit more. So I always question that it's not just about numbers, but it's also about whose difference you they make where you did it. Just as we want to see the difference where the man then go make where then did it. And I think one of the things then where we they advocate for see more women is to make that difference. The men have been there and we are still challenged. So with having increased number of women that hold their own, we want to see the change happen now, because now then they can take off the momentum from outside demand and don't reach and propel we to that side for there as a nation. So it's not just about counting the numbers, but it's about the value we they add for push we to outside we for go we still they struggle for reach.
Do you not think say with the enactment of the Giwi Act it make a difference?
In numbers, the numbers have increased, we agree, and it's a good start. And in fact, we even they discussed that the recommendation was made in the TLC report of 2004, and it said progressively. So we're even thinking, how can we even go beyond 30% so they go 50-50? That's the consideration we should have. But whilst we are pushing for the numbers, we are also pushing for more space, because you can be there but you don't have the space. More space, and also having women who can hold their own, who are confident, who can move the women's agenda. Because you can be seated in those spaces, but you are not carrying the women's agenda.
Now, a political party agenda, most of them can
Exactly, and unfortunately, the political parties do not always carry a women's agenda. So even where would they push for women in parliament, I think the push for be more on the women within the political parties, because it's the political party that guides the members of parliament on the position they will then get for all. So when you have women in leadership, women with influence and power within political parties, and women who buy and understand the women's agenda, then we can see the women in parliament able to deliver better. But unfortunately, we know they focus too much on the people that will sit within the political parties. We can they focus on the members of parliament. And we get to realize that the members of parliament are guided by their political party. So a lot more has to be done for the women within the political parties. And unfortunately, we don't see a lot of them sitting in positions of influence, positions of power, where when they say something, they're heard, and the women's agenda is on the table as part of a discussion. Now that level there we need for go now. So the numbers game, we don't play now with a win day, but now it's about the value of the numbers. Now we'll get for up a bit, and we'll get for specifically target Usai the power day, Usai the influence day. It does not lie with the MPs. It lies within the political party.
But again, you have to think if una the woman them where they into this advocacy space get the collective voice for shout enough for let the one day for make the decision at the political party level.
Now we'll have to go up to the mountain until I don't make Leicester pick now. We'll get for what's in up there. We all loudspeaker, because I think for the past maybe 20 years or more, we don't they talk the same thing. We don't they engage the women within the political parties. We don't they engage even on this women's wing. How powerful is this wing? You know, the wing of the aircraft, very critical. Without those wings, without the wings, the bird can't fly. So we can say, oh, the women's wing, yeah, but it's such a critical part. But then we'll not they see them get the sort of influence, authority, recognition that they need. Within all them discourse here where they be, me not see women's leader can one day can't talk anything. We they hear about tripartite things. We not one day see any of the women's leader Maybe they did. Maybe you've invited them. I did not view. That does not mean they have not spoken. But I have not heard. Okay, good. So
both SLPP and APC women's leaders.
Good. For Women's Month. But whilst we have been traveling around unity agreement, tripartite, 2023 elections, again, they might have spoken, I might not have heard, but that voice, we want to see more of them, more visible. We want to let them, now they're able to break that barrier that you can be within your party, and if they do something we're not right, if we're able to talk them. It doesn't mean you're not in the party. It doesn't mean they go pull you in a position or they no give you position. After a while, they no go let them, but then go where they no say, this is who you are.
You know, things in the space they not get for talk louder enough. When you look at how the political party structures, then some woman them, the highest position they get in, either just a women's leader or even a deputy chairperson of a political party.
So one of the things I have learned in my own space, maybe that political space, there's a different space. But for me, once you give me this chair for last, una all day I dey talk. So the position is very key. But it's about how that make us say voices need to be recognized, respected. So you can be sitting in a particular, get high position. But once you are on that table, you make yourself relevant to that body day. What do they say they need for your area? And from there they start and they ace you up. So the women within political parties get a louder voice. They are greater in number than the men in the parties, I'm sure. Then they do a lot of mobilization. When things all they happen, that the woman then they mobilize. So they have to start mobilizing from the top, not only at the bottom.
Miss Friday, you talk about collective voice and look at the difference and the difference among women and them. Because for example, the SLPP will be seen and get the women's wing, but you get GMB women. But it's difficult to see women and most in a political party push one interest. And obviously then again they affect them.
Well, that could be one of the things. We have freedom of association, so you could have different groups if they wish to have different groups. But there is a women's agenda that is one agenda. So you'll be coming from different directions, but I need forget a convergence point where you are pushing the women's agenda. They for make it be say then they take you on trips. Say no, na me one day and so as women's leader go able to travel. Or as women's leader, then they invite me, go then, place here, where if I'm not been there, I'm not going able to go. Because that's how, the conversation they go. It's just about those access to those things rather than pushing agendas. And that is where we want them to be. So you go get 5 women's group in any of the political party, fine. But the women's agenda, champion it. Maybe you now for when I get more seats, they look at external issues. You want to look at healthcare. You want to look at education. You go and look at the internal party dynamics. It doesn't matter. What you need for do, you need to have a convergence point. You need to get a point. Oh, now all this you don't say, today, then 5 issues, we don't come up from now all. Now they want along with.
First again, earlier on you talk about some people whether they're interested in protect or money business. For example, don't they see like Yvonne Akiswa, they go through a lot of challenge, particularly with the current government. We see the issue of Zainab Sharif. But also you get some women who believe say, no, they put me more tender. First again, some of them things they affect women them, or this woman they go against woman interest. Woman they challenge other woman, feel say still we're not forget one voice, one interest. But okay, however it be, I APC or I SLPP, but I will support this woman for the sake of human interest.
So Sierra Leone, as I mentioned earlier, just gets a general problem where women then don't be part of already because they're also Sierra Leoneans, which is I take me party, pass national interest, I take me party, pass interest we go take the country forward. And you where they say na me party interest, una where na the party where they carry or we go benefit are very small. not to the wider majority they benefit. Not just a small they benefit from this party where they run along with. And that is reflective on what you say about women. So when you talk about also women supporting women, it's also not necessarily about coming out, say, oh, I support this person on this, I support her on that. Sometimes it's about being silent. So rather than you they go cry down, you can't be woman, set you out. It's supporting her. Let it not be say when they call the list of people where they attack or cry down that person, you are one of them. That does not mean when woman they on side do something wrong, you not go call them out too. You get for call them out. Because everything a guideline, process, procedure that needs to be followed. So if you are in a position where another woman don't do something, in as much as you go show some solidarity, does not mean you are condoning. We know they condone corruption. We know they condone you breaking the law. So if women then they will draw out other women when they're guilty of anything or when they're perceived for being involved in anything and they who can for call you out. We know they condone you. So one of the things that we see say a lot of women leaders over time get the experience the intimidation. Yeah, they talk. We don't talk about Marcella. We they talk about the mayor of Freetown. We they talk about the context, the current issue now. I think up to yesterday or day before yesterday, it not been granted bail, though it's a bailable offense according to waiting we legal people and tell we. So this, for us, we perceive as these are the subtle signs or the obvious signs of intimidation. For women, the way vocal. For women, the way they stand out. For women, the way you disagree with the position where they take, you intimidate them for shut them down. And I think it was very unfortunate.
If this continue, what it will lead this on a long fight too? Because not today una begin fight for this gender equality, but the things them way una don't continue for fight for, then seem for the decline go back to Usauna start from years. Just make mention of the case of Zainab Sharif, make mention of intimidation. There are lots of other things them when underlining things them where they stall on a progress.
So one of the things I think these are slight setbacks, and when they pursue a mission and you get a vision, it's never going to go smoothly. So we are not deterred by all of this. In fact, it makes us stronger. And we're seeking all other alternative ways for just ensure, say, we continue the work they do. So this is not even a distraction. We understand, some of us understand this as part of the game, and it's made us even stronger. We will continue for do the work we're supposed to do because it's not just about ourselves. It's about the future.
Stronger, Miss Edwin. But there's a pattern, especially for women them, where they become vocal as soon as police arrest them or detain them, where they come out and they go silent. For example, the likes of Zainab Sharif now, we continuously in a detention just because he say things the way in belief say they're right. If he come on now, they go silent, we'll get mind for speak up again to the ills of the regime because go and go Paremba Road again.
Well, I think we they presume that would happen, or we they assume that would happen. I don't think say that they go happen. And like I say, I don't think say they are going to shut down the voices of women, whether they're in governance or out of governance, to say those things that will move Sierra Leone forward. Once we talk about issues for we country, we all get, not to APC get them, not to SLPP get them, not to a regime get them. Now we all get them.
But the regime then seem for they become so powerful to the point that suppressing vocal voices were not they in tune with them.
Well, to be fair again,
Ali, I just make mention of state capture.
A couple of us say things where I should say the regime they not like, because all man like let them praise them anyway. You said there, you want everything about liberty. The 1 or 2%, if you get the power, we go talk something about liberty. If you get the power and you have that in you as an individual, you will use that power negatively. For say that person, they will always talk about issues and they shut them down. It's also an ego thing. But when you say things We all my like all they talk about the energy sector blackouts. Me, that is something I no go tire for talk about until you have it right. We cannot live in a country, we cannot say we want progress as Sierra Leone and stand up with all the talents, resources where we get as a nation and as a people, and then we continue to get blackouts. You can't shut anybody down where they talk down there. Because it's obvious. We sit on here. In fact, the evidence so clear. We sit on here, lights go off. You can't hold me for that. Because it's obvious. Another thing though, we also be mindful how you say things. And I think how you say things is also important. There's a structured way. Even when you say you're a civil society advocate or you are an individual where we call government to account, there is a way you engage because it's an engagement. You know they call there for plaba. You they call them, let them hear you. You they call them for loan able for sit down say, what this thing where they be so, I don't think why don't we do it this way? Why don't we do it that way? For me, that's my own advocacy.
But the question again, are they listening?
Well, you know, we also get them picking in house, where then Kintranga is. That don't mean say we get for tire for talk. Now we country. And now we get for make nobody know they can make Sierra Leone for we. We can't tire for talk. So the media, una self get for continue. Una get for they create programs where they bring people them, where they can share alternative views. Una get for bring the government people. Let we understand who side self, then self they come up from. So we have a common meeting point. We not get for tire for talk. We'll always continue for talk. Me, I don't retire. But one time. When it needs, and like I said, I might not be in mainstream media now, but there are certain things I do on the side which is still pushing, engaging, for ensure say Sierra Leone as a nation gets to that place where we really want it to be.
I said even women in governance, on the governance space, see they get challenged. For example, the First Lady. We see recently a member of him party pull up video this, even question the woman. Some men still get the perception, say, woman for be woman. So to the point, the party person, they say, let the president control their wife. And the woman just feel say, well, I just want to show myself for come out, for be a politician. I want to show it I get. If you see some of these practices, still they bring down women, even when you gain a power, but ideology, thought to people then get traditional practices, believe say, no woman for still or no, for still in a kitchen.
So when they talk about this patriarchal thing, now the manifestation of that, and it's just unfortunate say we don't get the male involvement strategy, we don't get he for she campaigners, but still man a lot of men still not a thing say women can go and do anything in this world like any other person. Yesterday I was in a space where, and interestingly the forum was about women and young women involved in climate change. And they had a pitch where groups then they can pitch some of the innovation the way they can with. And what did they do? They selected 4 judges. All the judges then are man. I had to tell them, I said, you cannot continue with this. It has to be 50-50 representation. Because for me, I know they say the man they not for be part of the journey. But you cannot organize something where they talk about women's empowerment, gender equality. This is Women's Month. The theme is about women. Then you go get 4 men for be judges. And there were women in the room who can do the same job. So it's that mindset, that perception. And at that side, they would get a struggle with the men. Because of the socialization, where when they grow up, where they be picking them, then teach them, say, you man, you superior to woman. You man, woman not for do certain thing. Na man na for do am. Na man for be president. Na man for even be MP. Na man for no more for be speaker. Na man for be leader of government business. Na man for head thing. Or where we sit down together, woman not for talk. Who say man then they. Then for wait let the man they don't talk down first. Then they say, yes, because we are saying that even in meetings. Let's hear a woman's voice. Now we give you permission for talk. Now you for talk. So we still get man there. We're very difficult for them. For let they able emerge from that, say you now live in a world where man and woman they work side by side. Now side by side we say we they work. We get idea, and no nation not they develop. The countries the world they admire, like the Scandinavian countries, they have a very good welfare system. They have excellent provisions for women. Then the women and they all sigh. And not that they are also perfect. The woman themselves will tell you of the challenge. But their countries have developed because they have developed their women. If you not develop your woman, the women folk na your country, you not get them then space them waiting for occupy. You not get them the opportunity where they bring up your girl picking, like get that self-esteem day, that confidence day. Because even some woman where you get the opportunity, you don't even get the confidence. Because they don't bring her up, they don't grow in a system that enough for feel confident as a woman, as a person. If they don't, until we're able to change that mindset day and change the socialization, we go continue forgetting kind of incident there.
I give two man and ask what you think about them. In the civil society space, Marcella is zeal, energy get, and the first lady is zeal, energy get, not the political space as a woman activist. What's my perception? What's my take on them two people in there?
I think so they get an energy, like you rightly say. They get an interest in the field. For Marcella, I can speak a bit more because I've worked with her. And like I did in another media house, and they say, oh, who's party? They not say since we've worked and we've been together. And even when I don't left CGG, we still they meet, we go with family function where I can say I'm my sister. I don't know what party she belongs to. Because we not even ever get that discussion, day one. And two, the work where they do, the passion and the interest where we share. We don't one day get for doubts somebody in come by the way we think of something. We might have different approaches in terms of how we do advocacy. But the heartbeat of Sierra Leone, we share that. She has a passion. He get your own way, he get your own approach, where they channel that one day. And I think say people and get for acceptance.
Were you surprised to hear people like Honorable Indolo Keval, they say the APC they lobby for let it be electoral commissioner?
I think that's one of the most disappointing statements I don't hear for a very long time.
Why?
And I'm disappointed with that statement today because one, Honorable Keval knows campaign for good governance. He knows Marcella. He also knows as a member of parliament that the international community cannot dictate to our government other than for pick as an electoral commissioner. So for let you accuse the government, say not get the capacity for let he go through the process where the constitution provide for pick an electoral commissioner, I think it's also a slap on the nation's face. And coming from a member of parliament, it's very, very disappointing. And I think it's also very bad to sit in the media and defame somebody in that way. It's so bad. So I'm very disappointed with that statement.
Honorable Keval not being gets in fact right because for him, he been throw up a defensive challenge, see, in no way to it see, and he get evidence, see, the APC be the lobby for let them put Marcella as electoral commissioner and taking into consideration, say, he's a sitting member of parliament, come na public media, making that statement, just can vague one and make a statement like that, Val.
From where all of us sit, I'm not sure, and some inside information we have here and there, I have never, ever been aware that any political party will not even get the authority for go select electoral commissioner. They go lobby international community. I have never heard that the community, they lobby anybody. Even the sitting government will get the authority for pick a particular person for be an electoral commissioner. Maybe it don't begin happen now. But as far as I know, up to what I can sit on here this morning, I have not known our government, all the governments, that they have allowed international community for tell them whether they for go pick as electoral commissioner. So if he says that, it go good let it come out more with the evidence. Also, I really get that evidence they say Marcella was being advocated for be electoral commissioner. Having said that, it doesn't mean somebody not go sit down and look say, Valnora, I go find no let them make her in this position. Khadija, I go find no let them get in this position. That is a different thing. Some vacancy then go there, then go look, say, why they not think of them woman they are, then give them position in there. But for say formally pursuing that, I'm not aware.
So you think say that statement the way Honorable Geva will make na be a political statement or an intimidating tactics on the person of Marcella?
I also think, when they say then they intimidate and harass people, it comes in various forms. And I just think, like just as we're discussing, these are all intimidating tactics of women who are vocal. Plain and simple. That is all it is. You defame her, you make it feel bad, you make people then they cuss her all on social media. Why do you do that? So these are all the tactics they use for just make women who are vocal, women where they articulate issues, where maybe for you disagree with, you just feel say this is a way I can shut them down. Let just sustain one kind of momentum for make it get constant intimidation and harassment. Then you go back down, you go set him out. So those truths that should be told, we go improve on with governance architecture. We not go the area.
Now some of the pointers then this for sure say politician then really want for tight the space for long and know they hold they accountable or call them out of their wrongs.
It could be a manifestation. I will not go say blanket, because one of the things I always say, I personally, I work, and a number of us, we work very well with a lot of state entities. We work with members of parliament. And these, so I'm not go blanket and say it's an agenda. We also have to be mindful that there are individuals, like I say, where they can take out upon themselves to be seen, to be heard. That if I go this way, then go see me more, say I deal with the party, I fight for the party. So on your own, let I go do this. Let them see, say I deal with the party. So it's not a blanket thing where you go say, politicians, it's a plan that they should be doing this. We cannot, give them that blanket view. And most of us work with the government. Marcella was in the conference called by the Vice President's Office and Ministry of Gender. So you go say it's an agenda of the politicians. But I think it's more individuals that don't take up themselves, say then go be the foot soldier for bring the country down. We then can action there.
Elections they're around the corner. If this continue, waiting at the dangers, Balnora.
One for be Sierra Leone is a place where it's difficult, but I want to be optimistic that these are just testing the waters. But I think as I mentioned, this not go deter we. It's going to make us even stronger. Me no say Marcella no go stop for doing job, because at the heart of it all, it's about what will be best for Sierra Leone. Now they pursue. Every other woman where they do their thing, they will not be intimidated by all this noise and thing the way they go on, but then go continue for hold their own, and then go continue for contribute for make Sierra Leone move forward.
We can in your quiet corner, they listen to Marcella, looking at the work way they do. How you feel looking at this person go through?
Well, I think I'm proud of what she has attained so far. And even when we were working together, Nabi always somebody where he gets a strong personality, he's very passionate about his work, and she has continued to express that passion over time, and it don't grow, we all they grow. And I have said, I'm very proud of where she sits now, and I know say all of this no go deter him. He will continue for do the good work for Sierra Leone and continue for fly the green, white, and blue whenever she has the opportunity.
And campaign for good governance. Now, when you talk about governance organization in this country, stand tall. The state where they now, you be left farm, and I be meet them. What's not your current position?
Well, I think every leader come in with your own vibes, your own flow. I think I played my role. I did what I had to do and raised CGG to the level where I think it still is. Marcella is another leader. He comes with your style and your vibes. And CGG is where it is today.
All right.
So, we come in with a different flow.
All right, but now I relax a bit. We don't be joined by other guests. Like I tell you that throughout this week, we don't bring remarkable women, or don't they showcase women them we don't do very well, especially in the space of advocacy. And this other woman we can talk to, now a renowned lawyer and also an activist. He been passionate about issues that we get for do with human rights, issues that we get for do with democracy, issues that we get for do with peace. I remember some times back in December, I talked to Haja Zainab Hawa Bangura. He make a lot of example of how they start the early advocacy days during the time of the war, but they be very vocal. Then they and at the studio this morning, one for welcome Yasmin Juso Sharif, a lawyer and also an activist. In where they can look at and something we're very passionate. Now women they will find themselves in the mining sector. There are so many challenges where women and they go through that sector day, but we most of the time the media are not capable for capture some of them challenge there. And this March month now, Women's Month, where they bring can different people for talk about challenges where they affect women them that the various sector they will defend themselves. One for welcome lawyer Yasmin Juso Sharif at the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Khadija.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Because many time we don't talk to you, not just through virtual link and not from the UK. You meet to don't get a very lengthy conversation with Valnora, and it don't give we your own perspective about the civil society space. Outside then join on outside then meet what in then do, and some of the challenges with the space they get now, we make citizens and believe say the space they shrink. Politicians then continue for use the police and other state apparatus for silence people, especially women. We see what's in the happen now the case of Zainab Sharif continuously the detention. Firstly, as somebody who starts early years into advocacy, how you can describe the space now for civil society, especially women them wading into that space there now?
Thanks, Khadija. Well, a big question, Dandy, for this morning. I think say there's still opportunity. If I think back to 1993, 1994, we foresee not so as in they start, but we start in a more organized way. For me, I go say then 10 and now we begin for call we say for accept to be called civil society. Before that, we been just think of ourselves as, for me as human rights activists, as activist lawyer them, but where we sort of organize ourselves for be civil society. I think say there were challenges, but there were opportunities. And I think say some 30 years later, more than 30 years later, there's still a lot of challenges. You get new challenges then where they emerge, but there's still a lot of opportunity for people who really want to be active and who want change. I mean, who want transformational change, as opposed to people who basically just want to exchange places with some of the people in power, you know. And that's, for me, go be the difference. You know, so that would be the reason why, you know, sometimes people like me, somebody will say to me, oh, but you know, we know they see you now, the top table and everything. But me know, I think there are a lot of people back then and still who were not interested in the top table. What was the top table we're interested in? Only that the top table should be at a level where everybody will sit on it. That's not the issue. We really, you know, so a lot of the challenges for me where I see now is where people keep assuming that people who are fighting to make the situation more level, more equal, more open, to share the big or the small way we get amongst more people, then they scared, you know, and then they label, then things say everybody within at the space, waiting that person they want, now for let them take their own place at the top table. That's the issue. That's why people get attacked, you know. And sometimes maybe it's accurate. Maybe that's what people want. We've seen that, you know. We've seen how the loudest voices don't be the dumbest deaf mutes. They don't hear, they don't speak anymore once they have attained a certain level, no matter what they call themselves. They have access and control of resources, and they don't use it to open up the space. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who have been battling to, you know, continue to do the work, even especially when they get invited to that top table. It's very, very difficult for them because everybody at that top table thinks that, you know, then they fight because, you know, competition is the nature of the top table. It's a, you know, it's a fight often to the death. And, you know, it becomes more difficult. Things you thought you could do when you get up there becomes more difficult to do it. And you get distracted, you know, because people, instead of attacking you or discussing with you about your work, they're attacking your personality. And that is very easy for women. You know, it's a very easy way to attack women because women are easily attacked. So, yeah. So I think the space is there, but everybody has to work harder because the space is there, but in a way that the space is more complicated and there's a lot more people fighting in there, you know. And I mean, with the benefit of 30 years, more than 30 years of looking at it and thinking about it, reflecting on it, I think there's still work to do, you know, but there's still a lot of opportunity every day. Zainab Sharif is still in detention, yeah. Her legal advisors have not gone to the High Court. The Criminal Procedure Act makes it very, very clear and explicit, confirms a common law principle where we get from England back in the, I think, the 13th, 14th century, 1200 and something, 1300 and something, 1390, 1304, whatever it say. When they refuse you bail, you get the right for go straight to the High Court of Sierra Leone. You go before the judges who, you know, by law and constitution established. We go apply the principles. These are ancient principles, not all principles under the 1991 Constitution. Inherent principles for say, you not for just old person, you accuse them of something and you deprive them of liberty just for sake of that. So, you know, we have to keep going back to the old principles, going, you know, not being despondent, not saying, oh, they're not going to give bail, da, 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 da. You need to know your judges. You need to know your magistrates. You know, what does that mean? That means that, for me, when you're in a small country like this, when you know the nature of your magistrate, then your own personality, then your own circumstances, you know, one of me, they went in a court with one judge in England. He explained to me where they sentenced somebody. He says something. He say, hurt people. You know, damaged people, damage people. So you need to understand that. And you need to be able to take quick decisions, to know how to pitch your claim, how to make your advocacy, and then where to move, you know? There are certain people where that day, you know, when you go to court, you tell and say, well, this way, you go these 8 days. These first 8 days, they go, definitely. And then, we know they go there again for bail. We go to High Court, you know?
So in legal team, not for continuously, they ask Magistrate Bramaja for bail?
No, I think they forgo immediately. And I don't say that to them. You know, there are good reasons why, but I mean, you know, you can't. In fact, there's no magistrate that I think, you know, with all due respect, that you should ask for bail 4 times. Not when you can go somewhere else.
You're very passionate about human rights. All your advocacy don't center around human rights. even when you dey practice the more of human rights law you don't dey do, wetin dey happen so to Zainab? Get anything for do with in human rights?
Of course, as everybody has, has a right to their liberty. You're not so, when the reason why you are when you are charged and you are brought before the court gets a job for make sure say you go be available for let you stand your trial or for let them do their investigation, the court in your investigation, not a police investigation, right? But right from the police station, say police can't hold you forever while then they swan around, they do investigation. Then get the limits, is it 72 hours or 10 days? If then go ask, I think say up to 10 days for certain offenses. Then they get for carry go before the court. When you go before the court, the magistrate get for work on the principle, say, you are innocent until you are proven guilty, and nobody has proved anything against you. Look at your circumstances, waiting and go able for do for make you get the prima facie right for get bail. Because otherwise, police could just accuse anybody of anything. Like we saw where we get free word na mot. You go just see them come meet you, say, Mr. Sheriff, can you come with us? And that's a free advice so I can get anybody. Say, Mr. Sheriff, can you come with you? Say, no, I can't come with you. Go take warrant.
But in the case of Zainab, if they already get warrants, the police,
okay, fine.
They don't get warrants, but they don't show up at the police station.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. You big say, not big past the law. The law really, it get a lot of opportunity for help you. But so when they call you, not tell and say, do you not, go take warrant for me, especially if they come with warrant, go quietly. And I'm sure she went quietly, So when you go there, you hope you can be bailed from the police station on your own recognizance. Maybe not. Maybe you spend the night there. You try to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Femi, Claudia School, they all can give you advice on how to do it. And then you go before the magistrate. You behave before the magistrate. You need to, when somebody, has power over you, you have to use your common sense, And then you have to use your common sense. Your lawyers have to use their common sense. And then if you see, say, this one not get for right, this one is at warm for whatever reason, or in the afraid orders from above, this whatever, then you find your way, you find another way. Let we go before people then, too easy. What should you go big for? For you right, you're not citizen. This person, these orders from above, now for time. You write as a citizen, you write on the Constitution, now for all your life, now for your entire life. I wear this badge for honor Mr. Bathan Macaulay. He was committed, totally committed. He was a perfect epitome of what a good lawyer should be. Respectful of other people's rights, kind, all these things, all the things that make you human. The reason why I'm passionate about human rights is because everything they in human rights is about making you a better person. Making you somebody where know the limits between your own rights and the rights of other people. So, that's basically the situations. But now, I think definitely we need to take this matter to the High Court of Sierra Leone. We need to scrutinize what the Chief Justice will do, Justice Commander. He's in charge. He has an obligation under the Constitution to protect our rights. He's also a human rights defender. I can always tell the human rights workers, Human Rights Commission, I always say to them, we therefore be very close as human rights defenders to the police, because the police now, we first human rights defenders. Where we been in a Human Rights Commission. The first case really big case where we do, now for fight for the rights of a widow of a police officer. Police been get a rule. I hope say they not don't put them back. We been say 40 days after the person die for command a police quarter. That's when the NASIT been just NASIT not even begin for member for give you benefit. How for go parent elsewhere? After we don't give we decision, we don't give we advice, we don't direct. Then it was Achakamara say you can't do this. You can't do this. Then they come meet we in a Human Rights Commission say thank you very much. Because we SFBC say this colonial rule not good enough, but we couldn't do anything about it.
All right, we hope say in legal team though you this free advice so you don't give them this morning and then go take necessary action. Then we look at the case we get for do with Koidu holding.
Yes.
We don't they talk to you from where you did London, where the protest been start. And a lot of women then be affected. But nobody no seem for they talk about their woman there now, waiting and they up to, waiting and they do, how the conditions are like for them. We make attempts before we get you, forget a sitting MP Nakono, for can speak about the welfare of the woman there, since these are women's month, they talk about challenges the way women and they go through, but we're not able for get any repeats. You don't they follow this case from inception to now. Let me start for identify the challenges them where they affect the woman the way they into mining na Konodi.
Khadija, I don't know the details of the Koidu holding situation of waiting at the condition of the woman there. Waiting I know is that 900 plus mining families are affected by this closure of this mine. Right? And my own concern all along was that the people will get the responsibility, the legal and constitutional responsibility for look after the rights of workers, male and female. Now, the government of Sierra Leone. Now then get the first and primary responsibility. I remember, say, in the immediate aftermath of the war in Sierra Leone, one of the key issues coming out of the TRC report and just generally out of the destruction and the suffering that happened in Kono was that, and not just in Kono, actually all around the country, was that we system for protect the rights of workers, you know, had been one of the reasons why eventually people rose up and went to war. We constitution called for people their rights to their livelihood, opportunity, to earn their living, to work, to be treated fairly at work. All of these things are protected by human rights and their international human rights and by our constitution. But all of those rights were not being respected and promoted. And that was why we ended with an 11-year civil war. So therefore, the call where maybe they make at that time is, where is the Ministry of Labor? Where are they in the middle of this David and Goliath fight between these massive international mining company, you know, and these poor people on the ground in Koidu? Anytime we go now Koidu, I mean, decades, we did look at the fact, say, waiting we they see for the people of Kono, and waiting then they tell we say they come out of the ground, you know, they see no benefits. You know this, I mean, the difference is so small. When you go to other countries, you go to places where they have mining community, they get mining and they pull diamonds and gold. You they see say, yes, then people, yeah, then they get some benefit. So that is first and foremost my concern. Clearly, I have seen and heard that women are complaining their husbands have been out of work, they didn't get their benefits. Maybe they're lying. But as far as me concerned, I'm not the journalist there. I believe, say, and I apologize if I'm wrong, I believe, say, that the Ministry of Labor has never spoken out publicly about this dispute between Koidu Holdings or whatever is left with it, or whatever, Octia or whatever it's called, and these people in this that are working in that mine, or who are working, or who are cast off without being paid their benefits. And then you see things, you know, other people are writing on Facebook, social media, they're the ones saying the people are suffering, the women are grumbling, etc., etc. So in Women's Month, this one we know say now at least 1 year, because me know say now March 8th, I did in London, I come off from a march against violence against women na Oxford Street. Now I look me phone and see this thing. I see First Lady, they lead them people here for go fight with the mine owners. And I write say, Madam First Lady, do you pull yourself come up and trouble? This is not your fight.
But it be they as somebody where is saying in a corner picking.
And so what?
Anything affecting the people of Kono, it forfeit for them.
No, it's the government that should fight. The government is not allowed to hire out its own responsibility. It can't sublet it or whatever. It hand over its responsibility to somebody else. Not with all due respect, we didn't vote for the First Lady. We voted for the president who didn't appoint the First Lady as his Minister of Labour and Social Security. He appointed Rado Soare for be the Minister, of Labour. So let that Minister of Labour step up.
But she's into advocacy as
She's into advocacy, but advocacy is not the same as encouraging people to do the wrong thing. That's not advocacy. Maybe in this course that she's doing or these courses she says she's been doing, she could learn what is advocacy, or she could come to CGG, or she could ask any one of the hundreds of civil society activists about how advocacy is done. The advocacy of a First Lady is not that. What she was doing is not that. It's not that. You don't lay yourself open to having letters written to you by very expensive UK lawyers, we qualify in London. Now we can deny. We thought some people go say we tilt we foolish self. We can there 40 years. We come in and they work, £600,000-700,000 a year, and we beat them per exam. So when you go there, every letter when they write, not to 2 million, no, not to 5 million, 5,000, 10,000 an hour. So why is that the kind of advocacy that leads to that? Is that what you want? So the money that should have been used to help these people, pay them their benefits, is now being paid to white people in Europe. And then the government of Sierra Leone or whoever, she too is getting lawyers in England. What has that got to do with the people in Koidu? And, we have a history of unpaid legal fees abroad, and our people are suffering. Why? Why does every situation of suffering for the ordinary woman in Koidu end up with some lawyer, probably a woman lawyer, earning even more money than she was earning before? Because, stupid African people don't know what to do with their money and their resources.
You think the entire issue, the government of Sierra Leone not be handling well and try for put the people them now where you believe say they suffer na kono, their interest at the middle of all of them decision they are waiting being take onto the moment.
Absolutely.
Could all then go into maintenance from day then pack up?
Absolutely. That's it completely. That's it completely. That is it. That is it. The silence of the ministry, me just feels is so disheartening. If they're doing something in the corner, now if they're doing something back channels, fine. But, these are public things. These are rights. This is supposed to teach other foreign investors that when you come, you don't play with the people of Sierra Leone. The resources belong to them, not the rest of, they don't belong to individuals, The reason why we have in the law that the resources, the land belongs to the people, but the resources under the land belong to the state of Sierra Leone and to the people of Sierra Leone is because it's supposed to benefit all of us.
But again, Madam Yasmin, the question I go ask now that there are laws.
Exactly.
We're supposed for protect the woman there.
Absolutely.
Within the mining sector.
Absolutely.
And if they feel disadvantaged, they're supposed to come forward and use then laws there for seek redress.
No, their job is to report the matter initially to the Ministry of Labour. The Ministry of Labour after the war, I went to there was so much legislation around mining, because we were going to build a new mining sector, a new mining culture in which the resources were going to be exploited jointly for the benefit of all. Okay? What I'm saying is when these people have a problem, I think one of the things that struck me was that there was, maybe I'm wrong again, that the mining company had never recognized the labor union in that particular company, in that particular mining enterprise. That mining company was not supposed to be still operating. You're supposed to have proper a mining union that operates properly, that is super monitored by the ministry. You have so much procedures. I can remember when Alpha Khan was Minister of Mines, under President Kuruma, and they called us to these meetings, etc., etc. I used to work a long time ago for NDMC, and I know that the labor relations, the labor control was so clear, in those days, back in the olden days. So why post-war do we seem to have this free for all? Why post-war do we have a situation where workers are arguing whether or not they should be being paid $1,000 in dollars or $1,000 in lyon equivalent or 1,000? I mean, that, the law is clear. You pay people a living wage in the currency of the country. Why should these people have excess dollars to be paying to people as staff? It's as the workers. What does that do to the local economy of the country? Where you are working with two different currencies or whatever it is. I don't know. As I say, there's so much opaqueness. There's no journalists working to tell us what is actually happening. You only see little bits here and there. Maybe it's true, maybe it's a lie, and then people misleading others. And then the people who are being paid to do this job of protecting the rights of Sierra Leoneans, in this particular case, the Ministry of Labour, they're all torn mumu.
Why is that?
Well, no, pass you ask them. Pass you ask them. Thank God they're still alive.
The first lady involvement make the ministry not able to talk.
I'm not saying that is why he's such a coward. Really and truly. I know he's not an MP. He's not voted for by the people. But I think he's an honorable man.
At the start, if they engage the people there. But when the first lady involved, they'll not to say the ministry is down.
Well, I don't know. Because if they give me work for do, then they all man know about me. If they give me work for do, nobody, no matter how high, now they stop me for do me work. Because the worst thing you go do for me is you go tell me, say, dear, now me been give you, I not give you again. Then I go back to what you have been they do. Now I make it very important, let all man learn work of some kind. And let you be self-posing. So no matter how high, if like if you be president, if they tell you say Papa accommodate tomorrow, yeah, you go get your pension, but you no need for worry. You go pack whatever business or whatever thing where you like for do for yourself.
And all this, the first lady and the president in wife, and the constitution gives so much power to the president. Also, if you say the president will be don't play, take the minister of local and of labor out for now, and the president look at the president's role.
No, you're not going to take the minister of labor out of the picture.
You don't go silent.
No. The president in role then for tell the minister of labor, say, do you work? Or else you pull out, you put somebody else, we go do the work.
What about your wife? May you not be right for go there, but you go there. What not be the president's role then?
Hopefully, before tell and say, Mama, where they do so, I swear you defend for you picking there. So Mama sit down, find out that thing do. That's it. That's all. I mean, we married, your husband can tell you, say, Mama, do you have big sorry for me picking there? Because the alaki not open emu. Most of the alaki we mortal man they get. Not of the one way they fend for himself. Now I'm picking the 9 for dumper. So he said, you are sorry for the picking the way we born. Do go find out that thing.
According to the first lady, the intention are for advocates for the people them. We don't get this outcome now it affect both the man and the woman them. And a boko people them. What if it's in it for be done now?
I think the government of Sierra Leone, through the Ministry of Labour and the Ministry of Mines and Minerals, need to, and the Attorney General's office apparently. But I think there's some kind of dispute going on. I mean, because there's a process where the people then put this thing to care and maintenance. There must be something going on. So I think it is necessary where you have a government that is accountable to the people, that they keep the population informed about what they're doing about solving big problems. And the closure of the mines in Koidu is a very, very big problem. And then that brings me to my own, concern, which is, and I raised it, I think back then, there was a very nice MP from Putloko, woman who came and spoke on the program about when I was grumbling and saying the parliament, the people that where the Kono people then vote for, the Kono MPs, we not hear them say one word. And that's why we vote for them. We vote for them so that they can take up and speak for us, speak in our name. They're not get afraid nobody. They are not like the First Lady taking on something which not to their own job. Now their own job that. They should be the ones making a case for the people of Kono, for these mining families. And yet again, then self ying. They no agree can a radio station, they no agree answer letter waiting and corners. And then that takes me to the issue of the 30%. We fight for this 30%. There be 30% of women in parliament. But for sure say that really the government intention was not really to empower women, to speak for women, to stand up, to stand up in this situation. Then pull the 30%, come up on the gender equality, within Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act. And we carry the quota. Look, when Valnora them been there na CGG, now then bring that Swedish woman or Danish woman, when we sit down with a couple, we they try for work out the 30% quota for B, whatever. Me and Justice King, we were both commissioners. From a human rights perspective, we do something, write it on a piece of paper, what would they discuss, from that end, for that, then pull the 30%, come on inside then pull and come out inside the GIWI Act, then go put on a Public Elections Act. Because they wanted to use it not as a means of empowering women, of bringing gender equality in the country, for let women then go fight for women. They wanted to bring women into the parliament where no go otherwise ever see light. So that all their allegiance, all their concern now for the political party, we put them on the list and let them be part of the 30%.
Honorable Marcella, na Kono person and the chair for the Mines Committee.
Yes.
One post we done the call on this issue now ever talk. The silence of the honorable and the committee and the Minister of Labour. You suspect any power that's so powerful will make Dan and all afraid for talk?
Me, I really have no idea, because I've known a lot of MPs in my life. My father was an MP, returned 6 times, contested elections 6 times. My husband was an MP, voted in on PR, and these were people who used that position to fight for other people, Honorable Agnes Bassi used to sit next to Dr. Fufana, and she said to Dr. Fufana, I have a woman in my constituency we need for get a divorce. We don't try for get a customary divorce. Let it go married somebody, don't come off and with the America, we want can go America. What think we go able for do about that? Ask your wife because your wife not a lawyer. And I say, well, there's actually no divorce in customary law. There's no way for a woman to, the man can return her, but the woman not get power for divorcing, separating herself from the man. So now forever business. So you had MPs who understood, they talked to each other, and then they force, then work with CGD and the UNDP and whatever. In the end, we get the Registration of Customary Marriages and Divorces Act. Because actually, you can't get a divorce if you don't get marriage certificate. And in those days, they don't get customary marriage certificate. And that woman, at the end of all that process, at the end of 2007, the girl was able to get a divorce. Agnes Bassi can go America, go marry the married. You don't forget what we serve in the happiness and everything. That's what MPs are supposed to do, members of parliament.
So if you say
they're not called members of political parties.
If a woman be the head committee, they don't see action with the corner issue.
No, because the MP there, the woman MP there, will not even talk nothing. Either. They self not talk either. They not talk one word. From that day, they take today. Do we know who they are? We know that Honorable Rebecca Yei is one of them, but none of them have stepped forward.
Then they represent the people them with this action. How you go describe them?
What?
Then they end up represent the young people them.
Yeah.
Or this kind of action, not talk, and now the situation with the people, and there you go describe the action.
I think it's very sad. I think it's really, really sad. You know, it make her think about historically. I think back to Haja Marie Touré, and she wasn't a Haja then. I keep telling this story. Haja Marie Touré standing up at Bintumani 2 and saying, that arrangement where we been done make, say we dey make election, February 26, me and us sabi book, but we will not sign it in at this paper. That election, they must go ahead. You have to have courage. You have to have, you know, she could have come and refused to stand by the principles of what had been agreed. And the people, you know, leadership, it comes out of love and respect for human beings. It comes out of the same place that human rights come from. If people then vote for you, then team up, understand for you, you for be able to get something back.
Miss Edwin, they talk around women in governance from this morning, and looking at the statement we just make, it's like you believe, say, if woman in dinner at the top, they will deliver more past the man, they would only get power over the years.
No, I'm changing my mind about that. I used to think that... No, listen, no. I used to think if you have more women... No. What I'm saying is that you have to have the right kind of women, right? If you have the quota, and the quota, the power in the quota is given to the political parties, where the political parties, for me, then don't show themselves since 1996. They are only in it for themselves. That I don't say over and over again, so that they not get for upset anybody. They're not, you know, after 2000, they progressively then just they reduce their interest in the population, right? So the MPs, yeah, it seems that they really then they obey the people, then we put them in power, and that's the political party. Because the population not able to stand up tall and brave and actually not get the chance now. Now the way where the system don't organize itself, if you not be say you deal with one of the two big political parties, you're not going to go into parliament.
Because of the PR.
Because of the PR. Because of the PR.
And if you say this don't make governance weak in the country?
Well, yeah. Because I can't imagine, say, if you been get MPs, then we no say, then get for go answer to the people directly in a corner, that, you know, one only I go pass, will not see aid not till. Or at least me not hear sometimes the press, the journalists not tell we. Sometimes they don't give them the money. But the last waiting me see, I see Z to Cara Clarkson say, the woman then a corner they cry, see. 1 year don't pass, they not get their money, then they suffer, then this, that. Nobody no do nothing. They were suffering in 25. We don't reach 26 now, still suffering. No solution.
If you see with the PR, will get a situation where MP and the Senate now, or any obligation to anybody in my constituency or my district, but to my political party?
That in the show. The first thing was where APC say, because they know the APC MP there. They say because the people they not vote for an APC president, then they boycott the parliament. Really and truly, waiting the failure of the presidential candidate for win election get for do with me as an MP. You're not there for your party. You're there for the people. And I have that right. I voted. I'm registered. Whether I vote for you or not, after the election, you bound for represent me. You bound for be available to me. You're not supposed for left me on work, because your job is first to me as MP. You're not supposed for left me on work for go run at samurai in your own business.
Yeah, but no, I make a case. Waiting they happen now in a salon. Now more of certain people within position of power puts them political alignment above patriotism, above the country where they're supposed to serve.
Absolutely correct. Quite correct. She's right, correct, right. Can't say it better. That's it. Yeah.
So if things then like this continue for happen, waiting at this issue of we will deliver, service delivery, campaigning during politics term to the people say, vote for me, I give you light, I give you water, I give you free quality education. If when you come, you dey forget about what you promise the state, you just focus on what your political party wants to do. Even if now wrong your political party they do, you dey toe the line say, this is my party's ideology, I have to stand with it.
The Truth and Reconciliation Commission say, implement these recommendations at your peril. If you don't implement these recommendations, if you don't change, if you continue or go back to what is even worse than what we had before the war started in 1991, you will take the country back to war. You know, and maybe people think that they will escape. But maybe, Trump is there to remind everybody that, you can't go back there. If people ask in England now, that way that people were able to get that refugee status is never coming back again. So maybe where this country will go back to war, none of us will escape. We'll all have to be here.
Are we seeing the signs? Within the TRC say?
Well, me, I don't know. Me not been there for the last 18 months to 2 years. So now
but
you
you actively there into salon. You dey follow salon religiously. You know the issues.
Yeah, I mean, if nobody can speak on behalf of the people of the Koidu families, the women and their children, still this matter is not resolved. After definitely 1 full year, we not see them the rally in the streets, they tell anybody think he say we don't solve the problem. Then we're going to go back to war. And we know that the war was so much problem in Kono, It's really, really bad. And these are not the people. It's not the people who had to run, they run with them as babies, they as small picking there, they walk out with them in the streets, not so they go suffer.
So with the Kono issue, with the electoral commissioner issue, with the increase in fuel price, with the high tax them with it, and compared to the recommendation and the TRC report, the causes of the war, you see Salon a fragile state. Salon for the afraid for waiting over the experience over the past years.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Sierra Leone a fragile state. We never escape fragility, because we never able for, provide the basic things for the population. Our health system is really, really bad. We can't take care of ourselves, It's skewed, it's sad. We're spending so much money taking people out of the country, and the system isn't working. We're worse than fragile. because it's been deteriorating. And saying that it's going forward doesn't mean we are going forward. Just saying it, we are still going backwards, and we know it.
Quickly, Val, would they try for Valnora? Would they try for wrap up now? You don't talk so much about the civil society space, how the women and they participate in governance. There are laws, but implementation very difficult for women. Them going forward, should we be having this conversation frequently? Not to just no more we match fen on a back say, oh, we're celebrating the Women's Month. Let's talk about issues affecting women. What it need for be done at this point for continue for push the women's agenda?
I think that's a very good question, and I think it's an ongoing conversation. We're not for LEFAM. When they reach March, we start for jump all around, and I think every single day, everybody needs to acknowledge within women they don't do not in life, and the value where women they bring in the home, in the community, nationally and globally. I mean, there's one side where somebody asked, is it all man at the women mention, who that they way woman not don't do something for? You cannot sit where you are outside your mama self we born you. No woman again not do nothing for you up to the point where you did. So it's not a conversation for just maintain for March, but for the do throughout the year. And I think Una in the media we get such a good platform. Like how you identify that Lieutenant Colonel, the first woman for lead a battalion. I'm so proud. I so feel I will not be nowhere meet him. Let take picture with her, post on Facebook. I think we need to be identifying women. We're not necessarily in we own space, but they're doing good things in different places where they get a story to tell, we can serve as a motivation to others. So every now and then, when I need for go out and find those women, younger women where they emerge, women they way they into the innovation, women where they at the community level. When I even find when I link up women we might not be na free time we go able can sit down a studio. Once we able maybe get a video something for on arrange and the logistics can be challenging. But let go find network, let it talk in the community what they do. Because there are lots of women who are doing excellent work and we need for to recognize them and create the platform for them. Let other people then learn, know, and the younger generation know say all is not lost.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa. Yasmin, women in the mining sector continuously they face challenges. Advocates like Una don't continuously they talk, but the challenges are still there, although laws then they for protect them. Going forward, waiting need for be done.
Khadija, as I say, anecdotally, we know about some of the conditions for the women who are doing informal mining, especially in the northern province, in gold and things like that. We have some other kind of informal mining where they take place on sanding within the pool, with human in the pool, even along the coast, this western area coast. I don't know how much regulation there is of those kind of mining conditions, because God forbid, maybe 10 years from now, 7 years from now, this health system, the one we will get now, no able manager. They can't, God forbid, let we not can get a whole bunch of women they appear or then begin born picking them with disability, where we go trace back to this unregulated, unmonitored, we don't know which kind stand within the pool for Chinese for Kerguna China. Then kind thing in there. So I think there is a lot of work to do in about, the conditions of work. So that's the other big thing. I can't speak with authority on that. I can only kind of highlight within Vietnam you concern what they see, because we don't know. So the ministry, what you people in the journalists who are concerned about women, you need to be calling these people, calling them out to ask them the questions. what are the conditions under which women are working in the mining sector, in the agricultural sector? What's happening to our trade union rights? When we were fighting to return to democracy and fighting to end the war, the Labour Congress was so powerful, was so active. Those are key civil society actors. Where are they now? What has happened to the teachers' union? You know, when they couldn't stand up for that day when Ben Kalfala was shaming those teachers under the cotton tree. What is happening now? We know that some of them have been ill, you know, all of these things all merge together, you know, that we have all of us as a society to insist that the forces that make up our civil society, that can make the voices heard from the grassroots, that we strengthen them, we hold them together, we support them, you know, and we work with them, you know, to move our country forward, going forward. And especially the women, to encourage them, as Valnora has been saying, in that, you know, in that sector.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, now they end this conversation for today. Throughout this week, we don't bring remarkable women them we don't serve, and then various sectors they will defend themselves. And we will continue for bring the woman they allow we to discuss some of the issues the way they currently affect women them in Sierra Leone. Many thanks to the entire production team we support we for bring this edition of the Breakfast Show come to you. Mina Khadija Bangura to say have a good day.
And Mina Alex Florence Kumadi say, get yourself a blessed day.
Building tomorrow today with Rightmove. Looking for quality, reliability, and innovation in your next big build? Choose Rightmove Engineering and Construction, Sierra Leone's trusted name in transforming ideas into enduring structures. We don't just build projects, we craft landmarks that stand the test of time. From state-of-the-art offices and modern homes to fuel stations, water systems, and infrastructure, our team delivers precision, passion, and perfection. At Rightmove, we are not following industry standards, we are setting them. Through cutting-edge technology, uncompromising safety, and sustainable solutions, we are building a brighter, stronger, and safer Sierra Leone. Visit us at 54 Campbell Street, Freetown, or call 078399475 or 077504338. Rightmove Engineering and Construction. Building quality, building trust, building the future.
It's Labor Day. After all the grind, stress, and queries at the office, it's time to ease your brain, laugh out loud, and feel like the CEO. Larger with Kingdom and my hustle will make sense on Labor Day, Friday, May 1st, 2026. Venue, prestigious Into Money Hotel, 7 p.m. Ticket prices, 500 millions. Answer, 1,000 millions. I mean, table for 4, 10,000 millions. A deal, table for 8, 20,000 millions. You don't buy yourself plenty. Now come and laugh. No excuse. Media partner, Liberty Online TV, and cooked by Eminence Africa.
I say, it don't make sense. I don't make sense.
You are watching Liberty Breakfast Show on Liberty Online TV.